Hey guys, welcome to the LA Dodger Dog Show. I'm Alan, the LA Dodger Dog. Today's guest is a very special one. He is at GnarlyFarts. Welcome, Coy. How are you?
Great, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for being a guest on the show. Originally,
Dude,
we had, yeah, sorry.
I was
We,
sorry. I was going to say thank you so much for having me. I'm just really excited that you think I'm interesting enough to dedicate an episode to.
yeah, absolutely, man. I do. I saw your artwork. I think it was on a story feed or something, and it was some time ago, and I became a fan because you have some artwork of Dodger Stadium itself when we couldn't get in or we were about to get in, and the anticipation was growing. And you posted something. It was the reserve, the top deck, or reserve and load section seatings, and I put it up on my story too. It was so cool, and I put it up with a Nancy D recording on my story. And your artwork and that music made me feel like I'm there. And I looked at even more artwork of yours through the Instagram page, and it's just amazing. We're going to look at some of that today as well. But Coy, like I said, he has an interesting screen name. I want to start with that. It is at
Sure.
Gnarly Farts on Instagram. So give us the meaning of this here.
Well, I wish I could say that there was some like deep, philosophical, like this was rooted in something deeper than, farts are funny, honestly. And it's just sort of been my Instagram handle as long as I've had an Instagram, long before I decided to post artwork, and when it was just a personal account of mine.
Awesome.
And you know, after I made the decision to kind of make my artwork public and see what I could do with it, I just never got around to changing it. And eventually I just sort of leaned into it. Like if you were to go down far enough into my feed, you'll see, some of the first pieces that I posted,
Mm-hmm.
and I just sign it with my name. And then at some point I made the executive decision, like this is just now my brand, and I started signing it Gnarly Farts, much to the behest of my or I should say the dismay of my brother, um who tells me like that I'm dumb for
No.
that. I mean, I don't know, it's like marketing 101, I guess. For better or worse, it leaves an impression, probably for the worst, but you know, I guess
Not
it
at
in
all.
some ways it's memorable.
100%. It's I'm like, okay, I thought I had seen your artwork before, and I'm like, gnarly farts. I'm like, that's interesting. But when I saw it again, I'm like, okay, yeah, this rocks. And so I think it's a great thing, man. No such thing as bad publicity, right?
Yeah. Hey, if you say so, then I'll drink to that.
Absolutely, man. So you have your artwork is mixed. I know you have some family pieces. I know you have some Dodgers pieces, and I want to talk about both. Obviously, we're on
Sure.
a Dodgers themed show, so let's start with that. I first want to get into how you became a Dodger fan.
Yeah, for sure. For the sake of this conversation and for the sake of your episode, I wish there was like some pivotal moment, like awe-inspiring, like ray of sunshine that just beams down on me and says, "Hey, Coy, you're a Dodger fan now." It really isn't the case.
Okay.
Just growing up in Southern California and playing sports and really being drawn to baseball, uh, I went to a healthy smattering of both Dodgers and Angels games.
Cool.
And I think just somewhere down the road, I decided, probably like late high school, middle school, that yeah, I'm a Dodgers fan. I feel like I have more fun at the games.
Hmm.
I was a little bit more drawn to the players at that time, like mid to late 90s. Even when I was a kid, and to reference this a little bit, put this into perspective, new era fitted hats were like 1999 at this point.
Hmm.
And I used to just collect every baseball hat. Like it didn't matter. I had Dodgers, I had Angels. I even had a 90s era Astros hat.
Hey.
So, hot take.
I mean, those
Um,
were the better Astros. They didn't cheat.
yeah, man. I just, I just, I probably had about half of the league in hats, and I just love the game, to be honest. And
Mhm.
yeah, at some point, Coy, you're a Dodger fan, so and I just leaned into that ever since.
Well, you made a great choice, man.
Thank
We're
you.
defending, absolutely, the defending World Series champions. It took a while, but you know what? We got there, and it's well deserved. So I imagine that you make it to the stadium every so often. How often can we find you at a game in the season?
Well, hopefully a lot more now that they've opened the floodgates as of June 15th. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I've only been to about two games so far at the time of this recording. And the only reason I did is because a buddy of mine has season tickets. And so instead of, and he offered them at his price, I always want to make it to games. It's a little bit more on the tougher side, given that we have a 2-year old and a 4-year old. Um,
Right.
so
Hey,
before the little ones, we were season ticket holders ourselves, and we would probably make it to, I guess, mini plan holders, and we'd probably make it to
gotcha.
about 25, 30 games. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. That's a lot,
It
man. That's great.
was good times, man.
Do you have any Dodger game moments that stand out in your mind? It doesn't have to be one that you were at, or one that it can be one that you just watched on TV or experienced with your family. Something that stands out of the Dodgers.
Sure. I might take a different approach to this one. There
Sure.
are a lot of moments I feel I was robbed of. And if my wife were sitting next
Please.
to me, she would have a good laugh and solemnly shake her head and say, yeah. Uh, we, one of the ones that stands out to me the most, we were at a game back in 2013 when Yasiel Puig broke out. And it was against the Braves.
Hmm.
And my wife and I were kind of in a crummy mood because of something like she had pepper spray. This was kind of at the time when things were a bit rough in the parking lots.
Oh
And
yeah.
they didn't let her bring it in, which looking back, it's like, of course not. But still,
Hmm.
it kind of put us in a bit of a sour mood. And then the game was 1-0 for like the longest time. And she was like, I kind of want to go. And, we did our best Dodger fan impression, and left, at like the sixth or seventh inning or something.
Yeah.
And I've got the game on my way home. The bases eventually load, and of course, up comes Yasiel Puig, who had been in the league for like, I don't know, a week at this point.
Oh gosh.
And this was that game. By now,
Yeah.
we had been parked in front of my house. We were just sitting listening for like, I don't know, 8 to 10 minutes at this point. And the radio caller, of course, was Charlie Steiner, Rick Monday. And
Mm.
if you could just hear that in your mind, that call, this doesn't even happen in Hollywood. I grabbed my steering wheel and shouted what felt like the top of my lungs, things that I shouldn't say on the show. And my wife, Savannah, is just sitting here like, oh my God, like she knew what we had done. And
Oh no.
that's probably one of the bigger ones. And then a few years later, we found ourselves walking through the parking lot on our way back to the car when Cody Bellinger hit his first home run as a Dodger.
Oh no.
Um, and then, of course, later that game, if you remember, there was like, I think back to back to back homers. And I
Oh
think
gosh.
Agon did something. Dude, it was when it rains, it pours.
Uh,
And I've missed some rough ones.
it's okay, Coy. No, but you know what? You've gone a couple games this season. Did they win?
Not the first one. We won the
Okay.
second.
Hey,
Yeah.
one of one. One out of two ain't bad. One out of two ain't bad, man. You're
Yeah,
500 for the
sure.
season. That's great. But I do
Yeah.
want to jump into your artwork. This is
Yeah,
why
let's
we
do it.
brought you on.
Yeah, for sure. And before I get too much into it, I'll just say that I kind of want to break this next segment up into two separate segments. The first being dedicated to the Dodger players, Dodger team. And then the second segment is actually more dedicated to this ongoing series that I have. I haven't contributed to it in a couple years, but I'd like to get back
Mhm.
into it. It's dedicated more to like Dodger super fans.
Oh, cool.
It's just called the Dodger fan series.
Now I do have some audio listeners. Now, audio listeners, for if you're listening, you're gonna want to watch this one. There's gonna be artwork displayed on the video that you're gonna want to see. By all means, continue listening through. Coy is an amazing person, but we also want you to watch this one to really appreciate the artwork that's going on here. We have a few pieces we want to talk about. The first one is a really cool one that I already know what it is, but Coy, introduce this piece to me.
This first piece is of JT. This is actually from the 2017 This Team playoff. I think this was going into the World Series.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, if you were to survey my account, you would probably, you know, and take inventory for whatever reason, you'd see that a lot more of my pieces are dedicated to JT. I think it's just because as a player, he just feels a little bit more accessible to the fans. You know, given, I don't know, maybe his personality, given his community work, and even for us designers, sometimes he does this thing called Fan Art Fridays. He's a little inconsistent with it, but I've been lucky enough to have a few of my pieces featured by him. This one actually hasn't been, but yeah, I think that might be why I do more JT than anything, is just for the hope that he'll share it. But
oh, that's great.
But yeah,
that's great.
This is a favorite piece of mine just because of like, I think with like the color scheme, it just reminds me of kind of his personality. I've got nothing to back that up. I don't know him personally, but
now video guys, if you're watching me and my head's down, it's because I am following along on my cell phone, but you guys get the luxury of viewing it on the screen. So that's just how I do things here. We're going to talk about this next piece. Coy, can you introduce this one to us?
Sure. And this one's got a funny story. I know that this is technically a Dodger Yard podcast. I would say this is probably how I met you, Alan. This is a piece of Clayton Kershaw. It was initially meant for a contest that Dodger Yard was hosting for Clayton Kershaw fan art.
Yeah.
And I remember the directions. I think it said something like due May 8th, but it was like midnight of May 8th. And this was a Friday. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. So Friday night, I'll have it done by then and I'll submit it and, you know, hope for the best. So Friday afternoon, I'm finishing it up and I go to submit it and I don't see the submit button. I'm like, okay, I'm probably missing it. After about like 5 minutes, I'm like, no, I don't think it's here. And I emailed somebody, I don't know who, maybe it was you. And I'm just like, hey, did I miss it? Am I late? I said, yeah, you know, that was due at midnight. And if you think about it, it's like, oh, literally 12 a.m. May 8th or March 8th.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. And once you think about it, it's like, okay. But I got to give credit where it's due. Dodger Yard was incredibly gracious. They still posted and shared my work. And they included it in the video that ran at the end.
Awesome.
And of course, brought me to you, Alan.
Yeah, I saw it. And I actually saw that you missed the deadline. And I felt so bad. I'm like, this guy put in so much work. I can tell. Look at this, guys. It's got a great image of Kershaw on there. It's got floral prints. It's creative as heck, guys. I loved it. And I wanted to make sure I showcased it as well. So when I knew that Coy missed the deadline, I actually put it up on my story too, because I wanted people to see it. You know, it's great. And I'm happy that it was included in the video to Kershaw for his birthday. So can you tell me what inspired this particular image? Like, tell me the significance of like floral prints and, you know, I see that you got some words back there too.
Yeah. So honestly, the words are probably the only thing that in this composition that has any kind of meaning other than like the Dodger branding. Everything else is just, like I said, I wish there's like some rhyme to the reason or reason to the rhyme, whatever.
No worries.
It's just what I kind of think looks good. I will say to anybody savvy enough, I am kind of like I draw a little bit of inspiration from like other artists that I like, and to anyone who knows, this is definitely kind of like a Shepard Fairey-esque piece, who is the
Mm-hmm.
designer for the brand Obey.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like my Dodger version of that. I try not to like rip off too much because I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to like be a total hack, but
But you can draw inspiration from, so that's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I guess imitation is the highest form of flattery, and I definitely like what Shepard Fairey, like his artwork. His designs are really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, as far as the writing, that's just some of his accomplishments in the back. Um, Gold Glove, Cy Young, the season he did 300 strikeouts, which actually, speaking of great moments, I was there for that one.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, just various accolades. But yeah, everything else is just random stuff that I thought looked good.
Awesome. No, that rocks, man. I love that one. And then can we talk about this next one here? This is one of
Yeah, of
my
course.
favorite, and probably the reason I'm a Dodger fan, this amazing human being right here. But please introduce this one to us, Coy.
Of course. Well, this one definitely speaks for itself, I think. It's Jackie Robinson. Um, I I was a little late posting it. I initially wanted it to be for Jackie Robinson Day, but I mean, hey, every day is Jackie Robinson Day, right?
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
but yeah, so there's really not too much going on with this one in terms of like random design. I just looked for Jackie Robinson headlines and kind of made that the background, and
Mm-hmm.
everything else is just sort of yeah, not
It's
not really too much going on with this one.
No, it's great, man. I love it. I mean, an amazing human being depicted by one of my favorite people, GnarlyFarts out here with Mr. Coy.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, man, absolutely. I think it encompasses him very well with the accomplishments as well. The next one is amazing. It draws so much nostalgia for people like me of my age, and I will not tell you what that is. But if this brings some kind of emotion to you, you are around my age.
Yeah,
But
right.
no, trust me, guys. Coy, please tell us about this next one here.
Yeah, so this one, I was having a conversation one night with fellow Instagram user, the Dodger Hogs, or the real Dodger. I don't know what he's called.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodger Hogs. We all know him. We all follow him. He's great.
Mm-hmm.
And he and I had the same idea and we didn't even really realize it until we kind of got into it. This is the dedicated to kind of like the old peachy folders with the athletes on the front. And I initially wanted to do one again because I like drawing JT, just all different JT poses and swings and action shots.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to do one with that was dedicated to the World Series, and I thought there's no shortage of memorable moments in this last World Series, and so this is
Right.
just a compilation or a composition of like some of the great moments of not just the World Series, but the playoffs in general from last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted this one as a collaboration piece with the Dodger Hogs, and it got a really, really good. It got such a good, I guess, turnout that a lot of people had requested that this get made, and I had no intention of that happening at
Wow.
all, and nor was I ready for it. I don't sell any of my pieces. I use them as marketing to promote myself as someone you could hire, but I
Mm-hmm.
haven't really sold anything personally. So as this episode's being recorded, I'm currently trying to get quotes from various vendors, and I'm hoping that by the time this episode comes out, I would have made some headway because it's taking so long
Mm-hmm.
in getting this thing produced and in the hands of people. But
Right.
I am trying.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think it's so cool. Let's talk the different moments you've captured here. Let's start from the top
Sure.
here. You
Yeah.
got
So
Justin Turner. Uh huh.
yeah. Justin Turner doing his Superman down the third baseline, tagging. I don't remember who it was. I think it was against the Braves, right?
It was against the
Yeah,
Braves. Yeah,
yeah,
an amazing moment. All of these here. And then you got
yeah,
Julio Urias right under him.
yeah. Moment number one right here. Final
Yeah.
strikeout for the World Series. Uh, Going down, of course, the Bellinger catch against Tatis. That was electric for sure.
Oh yeah.
Um, and then one of like the 12 amazing catches that Mookie made. Yeah,
He's a beast
that's
out there, man.
yeah, and it's one thing he's managed to maintain this season is his
Yeah.
defense. And at the time of this episode, his offense is yet to come around, but he did have a pretty good game last night against the Cards. So
Yeah, he
hopefully he
did.
picks that up.
And you
Yeah.
know what? For baseball players in a slump, I bet they wish they had the average that Mookie Betts has during a
Oh,
slump.
absolutely. Yeah, he's still hitting like
It's
I don't
still
know
over
what is it like
250.
mid. Yeah, it's like mid, slightly higher twos. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Um.
And then the last
Then
two here we have.
yeah, we got Clayton Kershaw holding up the trophy, just kind of giving it a look. That one's a really special image, just given the adversity that Clayton's faced in the playoffs. It's kind of like vindication.
Yeah.
And then Seager holding up the MVP trophy, which definitely very well deserved.
This is so cool. I grew up in elementary school using these holders. So, it's really cool to see my favorite athletes on it depicted on there. That's so awesome.
Yeah,
Now,
well, hopefully
yeah.
I can get this thing produced and you can have one dedicated to the Dodgers.
Oh my gosh, Coy, I would absolutely love that, man. Let's make it happen, man. Let's make it happen. So, I
I'm
think,
trying.
no worries, man. I think this brings us on to our next segment in the artwork.
Yeah. So, or I guess sort of an intervention or not intervention, intermission. There we go.
Intermission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intermission. The last, before we go into the next segment, the next piece I want to share, this one's actually, this one's of my wife. This one represents both of our pregnancies. The one on the left is our 4-year-old son, Connor. And the one on the right is our 2-year-old daughter, Audrey.
Oh, that's so tender.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, obviously these were separate pictures that I just sort of,
Mm-hmm.
but anyways, yeah, these are really special to me because, my kids and my wife and just, you know, no pregnancy is easy. And if I can
Right.
just give but a fraction, you know, here's artwork dedicated to the moments. And yeah, this one's a really special one for me.
That's amazing, man. I bet your wife appreciates that one so much. And not only that, but viewers, if you want to take a look throughout the episode, actually, you can rewind and go forward. But behind Coy are also other pieces of artwork for his family, which is just amazing. It tells you what kind of man Coy is, and it's just heartfelt right there, man. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. That's so cool. Well, and then we have other pieces of art that I think are your super fan series here.
Yeah. So the next handful that I want to share are, like I said, these are all ones that are just a few pieces that I've pulled from the series that I have kind of going on. Honestly, I wish I could share every one, but then the episode would be like 2.5 hours long. But these are incredibly personal too, because the real some of my favorite pieces that I've done are in this series, because at the time that I draw these, I don't know any of these people.
Oh wow.
And yeah, these are just people that I've become aware of as I've gotten deeper and deeper into the Dodger community, like through my art. People that I didn't some of them I didn't even know existed before,
Oh man.
like spending a couple seasons in Dodger Instagram. But people, just people nevertheless that I wanted to showcase, people whose fandom I definitely appreciate, sharing passionately a
Yeah.
team that we love. And
Yeah.
what's really cool about some of these is that a lot of them, I've come to know since the drawings, and in some cases, I've worked with them, and have even have become friends. And so that's kind
That's
of, and
awesome.
each one kind of has like its own unique feature that's significant to the content itself. So yeah, we
Hmm.
can go over those for sure.
Yeah. Tell me about, yeah, tell me about this first one here. The viewers are going to recognize, and actually any Dodger fan out there will recognize this first one. Tell me about it, Coy.
Oh yeah, any self-respecting Dodger fan has at some point or another seen or met Mariachi Loco.
Hmm.
Um, he's the one. He's one of the ones that I actually was aware of before the drawing. I think I met him a couple seasons prior at a spring training, um,
Oh, cool.
probably while I was watching batting practice or something. And
Yeah.
I think he might have been like the inspiration for the series because um,
Awesome.
he himself he's such it's such a character, like a caricature, and just really what's the word I'm looking for, just like the picture speaks for itself. It's loud and proud and everything, and so
Yeah.
I think he might have been like the inspiration for like, all right, this would be a cool thing to do, like dedicate a series to guys just like him. So that's
Yeah.
Mariachi Loco. Super nice guy too.
That's awesome stuff, man. Yeah, Mariachi Loco is an amazing fan. He's energetic. He will always pump the crowd up. He goes on the road. He's a stadium chaser. Make sure you also check out that episode with Mariachi Loco earlier in this series. I'll put it right here, and you can click on that. Or actually, wait till after we're done with Koi, and then click on that link. I'll put it at the end of this video. But make sure you check out Mariachi Loco, and actually maybe some other ones that we're going to bring up right now as well. So we had Mariachi, but we also
Yeah,
have other friends of ours. Can you tell me this about this next one?
yeah. Next up, another veteran of your show, and your twin brother. We got Weenie Dog.
Yes, he is. He's my brother.
Yeah, also real heck of a nice guy. Was really
Yes.
gracious. I was, whenever I draw these and I go to post them again, I don't know them, they don't know me.
Right.
There's this tiny worry that like these people are going to open up their Instagram and all of a sudden see some elaborate picture, um of them from some guy named GnarlyFarts that they don't know. And so there's always like a tiny worry that maybe they find it kind of creepy, but I'm happy to report that I don't think that's ever been the case.
I don't think so
Um,
either, man.
just really like gracious, and yeah, Weenie Dog was no exception. He's such a cool guy. Always really appreciative, always very supportive of the work
Yeah.
that I do. So yeah,
Can you
cool
tell
guy.
me? Can you tell me what was the inspiration on this one? Because he's like a you depict him as a comic book hero in a way here, right?
Honestly, it's just the cape. I took the he's wearing a
Yep.
cape and I like ran 100 miles with it and I'm like, oh, that looks like a comic book. So
It's great,
that's
man.
that's it.
Yeah, I love it. He's one of the most humble people I've met, and very very family oriented, like my friend
Mhm.
Coy here. So a great job on Weenie Dog as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. I do want to talk about this next one. Please introduce it for us.
Yeah, for sure. So again, being that you guys are a Dodger Yard affiliate, this one is Dodgers Randy. Um,
Awesome.
this was from round two of my series, and I think at the time of this drawing, she was chasing every Dodger home game, and I think she did it,
She
if I'm not
accomplished it.
mistaken.
She
Yeah.
totally did.
So to me, that definitely has the feel of a Dodger super fan.
Hmm.
And like I said, every piece kind of has its significance. It felt like at the time, every picture she was holding a Michelada, so hence the Micheladas.
That's all the
Um,
micheladas down at the bottom. That's so awesome. I know Randy personally, and yeah, that's great, man. But
yeah, man.
continuing on, this next guy here, I actually just met as of this taping yesterday. So tell me about him.
Oh yeah, I think I saw the picture you and him and Beer Salt Bob.
Yep.
Um, anyways, yeah, this was actually another one from my first round.
Mhm.
Also a big inspiration, big personality, and definitely one of the guys that I've come to know and work with since releasing this image. Really cool guy. He's been featured in a few other pieces of mine
Awesome.
um, in conjunction with a guy named AJ Customs, another designer in the community.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, this is another one of those guys that's just incredibly humble, just a really nice guy, loves the game, loves the team, um, and just every interaction I've had with him is it's always great, and just the lengths that this guy goes to attend a game. I put on a pair of pants and a jersey, and I'm off to the races. This guy and his very dedicated and very loyal wife. Um, at
Yeah.
least based on what I've seen on the news with his news story. He goes to
Yeah.
every game like this, and I can't imagine like that level of dedication. So
Yeah, 100% dedicated for Dodger baseball head. And he's a great guy. Make sure you meet him too, guys. This next one we have is actually another guest of the Ellie Dodger Dog show and an amazing person as well. Coy, tell me about this next one.
yeah, so another Dodger Dog show veteran, Carla Blue23. Um, just big face of the Dodgers Instagram community. Really supportive, really cool, knows the game. She every now and then we'll drop like a really nice supportive line or share some work of mine, and
Hmm.
again, just being really appreciative of that, and being a fairly significant role, I guess, within the Dodgers Instagram community. It felt like kind of a like definitely felt like an entry for, I think this was my third round of
Awesome.
the series. And again, every piece kind of has its significance. I know she is a big Mariners fan with Ken Griffey, and so
Right.
that's kind of the teal with the baseball compass in the back. But
Awesome.
yeah,
No, I love that
yeah,
detail. We mentioned him already because I took a picture with him yesterday and put him on my Instagram. Dear Salt Bob. He's a wonderful friend of mine. I love chatting with him. And you have him depicted right here. Tell us about this one.
this guy has an insane knack for running into like every possible celebrity there is, and not just like A-listers and B-listers that we've all heard of, like
Yeah.
E-listers and F-listers, like people I have no idea who they are. Like they probably had one speaking line on some show back in 2014, and this guy knows who they are. Um,
Yeah.
it's incredible, honestly. But on top of that, heck of a nice guy. I've actually done some of his branding, like
Awesome.
his pins and his logo. Um, and just a really great guy. Like talking with him just makes you feel, like your lifelong buds or something.
Right.
But
Speaking of,
oh, there
there
we
is
go.
right
There it
there.
is.
Yeah. When you meet Beer Salt Bob, if you ask him nicely, he may give you one of Coy's artwork here on a button, on a pin, actually. It's really cool. He also carries beer salt with him,
Yeah.
hence Beer Salt Bob. But yeah, so we got, because I'm assuming because he meets so many celebrities, we got the Beer Salt Bob in Hollywood. Uh, the sign, we have it in the same
Mhm.
lettering style, the same font, which is
For
really
sure.
awesome.
You,
So yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say you caught on to that one for sure. That was definitely the inspiration, and of course the little beer salt bottles up at the top left.
Yup. Oh, you rocked it, man. See, you incorporate everything in here, man. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not familiar with these next two people, but I can't wait to meet them. Tell me about these next two.
Yeah, for sure. So P Mendeezy, this guy, his name's Paul, and I think at the time his handle was P Mendeezy. I think he's since had to change it. But
Gotcha.
this guy is he's definitely a huge Instagram personality. I'm gonna go out on a limb and kind of give him a nickname. Everyone, this wasn't sanctioned or warranted, so if he happens to see this, I hope you like it, but kind of Dodger community's lovable loudmouth. Um,
That's
he's
endearing. I
definitely
mean, I think that'd be
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Steve Stifler of the group.
Oh gosh, that's great.
No, but he's hilarious, and yeah, big time personality on Instagram. And the significance here, you might be able to catch on to most of this. We got from left to right. He's a big Lakers fan. He
Ah,
likes the Seahawks, pretty vocal about the Seahawks, which I'll give him a pass on that.
uh-huh.
He's a military veteran and, of course, Dodger fan. And
That
so,
is creative, man.
yeah.
I love this. And then you got the city of LA and Dodger Stadium up top. This is really cool. It's so
Thanks,
good.
man.
Yeah. And tell me about this last one here. Tell
Yeah.
me, yeah.
So this last one's pretty special because this was in the third round of my series. This guy's name, his Instagram handle is Deuce12. His name is Josh.
Mm-hmm.
He's a big deal because he owns every hat like ever. If it's ever been in existence, it's in his living room.
Oh man.
And that's definitely like a big part of his persona. And so hence kind of the Deuce 12 in the New Era logo.
Right.
What's really cool about this one is he and I became pretty good friends after this. And we've done some work together. In fact, if I can just have a couple seconds, I'd like to maybe plug
Yeah,
something,
please.
an upcoming project we have. I can't say too much about it, but coming out hopefully this summer is a joint collaboration with him and this company called the Hat Club, which is kind of like a sort of exclusive, kind of limited run design. And we have a couple designs coming out that are dedicated to famous LA people and landmarks.
Awesome.
So I won't disclose what they are just yet, but the first one will hopefully be coming out maybe July or August.
Oh,
So,
wow. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so be on the lookout for that. Hopefully at the time of this airing, we're a little bit closer to that release date.
Yeah, that's awesome. Coy, I'm so glad, man. It's so cool. Well, that brings us to a segment I call this or that. All right.
Sure.
First question. Dodger dogs, grilled or boiled?
Does anybody say boiled?
One person has said boiled. One person. And it was only because of nostalgia. That's the only reason. They're like, yeah, grilled, but you know what? The boiled will bring back some really cool memories to it. So
all right, I think that might be the only excuse to go boiled. Any other might warrant some sort of like psychiatric like evaluation or something.
100% agreed.
So with that said, definitely grilled. And I would say I was turned on to the idea by a good buddy of mine that Loge has the best hot dogs, and I say that I definitely contribute to that campaign pretty good.
Oh yeah, awesome. Yeah. Guys, make sure to get your Dodger dogs and load the grill Dodger dogs. And if you can get all beef, get the all beef.
Trust me. You heard it here.
That's right. Drinks at Dodger Stadium are pricey. We all know this. It's a fact of life and we deal with it. So given that, do you pregame or do you get the drinks at Dodger Stadium?
Is there a third option for soda?
Oh, there is. Okay. There is. There should be that option too. You're right.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely go into a game with the expectation that a drink is going to cost you like as much as an 18 pack at a grocery store. and maybe you just surrender to that idea. I have a hard time giving in. I do like a good beer. But if I had to choose, I would either just buy a soda inside, which is also just an
Yeah.
ungodly amount of money.
Mhm.
Or I would, if I had the opportunity to, I would pregame.
Yeah. 100%, man.
Mhm.
Now, other than Dodger Dogs, is there a must eat item at the stadium other than Dodger Dogs?
Yeah. I mean, the last game I went to, we did try out the Shake Shack, and that
Oh,
was
yeah.
phenomenal. Yeah, that was really good. CPK, I gotta say, like there was no line, like none,
Oh,
which I
wow.
was a little bit surprised. And to that point, speaking of pizza, if I could have any food item at Dodger Stadium, I would go with this pizza place that we like to frequent. Well, not frequent, but
Mhm.
it's called Grimaldi's.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Um, what is, in your opinion, the best section to sit in at Dodger Stadium?
yeah. I think an argument could be made for every section when it
Yeah.
comes to baseball. I mean, you got field level, which, puts you right up into the action, makes everything more intense.
Hmm.
A 95 mile an hour fastball looks like a 95 mile an hour fastball. And,
Right.
the crack of the bat, it's instantaneous and not like a split second later.
Right.
But then again, you sit up top and you get the perfect view of the field of the park behind the
Right.
stadium. And then of course when you're exiting the game, you got one of the best views of the Los Angeles skyline.
Right.
Um, with all of that said, man, I'm gonna go with the best of both worlds. I'm gonna say Loge. Um,
Yeah. That's a
you're
good
you're
one.
sitting just right up above it. You don't really have to turn your head much.
Hmm.
Most of the time I go to a game, I'm sitting in reserve, but the few games that I've been lucky enough to have seats in Loge, it's quite the treat.
Well, that brings you to the next question. Parking, inside or outside the stadium?
Definitely outside.
Awesome. And we don't reveal our spots here.
Yeah.
That's 100% the way to go.
Yeah, I
Now, uh-huh.
don't want to line McCourt's pockets anymore.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you on that one, man. Um,
Yeah.
Now, a day is your preference day games or night games?
Uh I'll say there's something really special about like a midweek day game that
Hmm.
feels like classic. I've only been to like I think one or two. Um and then there's that other part of me that doesn't like back sweat. So I prefer a night game. Um,
Yeah.
but
No,
uh, but
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah, I think again, much like the best section in the stadium, you can make an argument for both.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. Well, Coy, man, that brings us to an end. I want to thank you so much for your time, for sharing a piece of your family with us through our artwork as well. I want to thank them for making this possible too, because I know you got little ones that your wife has to take care of. So thank her for me so much.
Thanks so much, man. And to anyone who is watching this who happens to follow me or has ever commented or liked anything, I just want to take a quick moment and say that I really appreciate it, and it means a heck of a lot, like more than you could ever know. To know that anything that I do brings anybody any level of joy, that's a huge thing for me. And so I just want to make it known that I never stop appreciating that. And to be on this show, it's a really cool thing. So thank you so much for having me.
I'm touched, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad we could make this happen. But yeah, make sure to follow at GnarlyFarts on Instagram, and make sure you like all of this stuff, guys. Make sure you follow the show as well. The LA Dodger Dog is where I'm at. The or LA Dodger Dog show is where the show is at. And make sure you rate us on the podcast and all that great stuff. Until next time, take care.